Hey guys, so in this video, as you probably saw in the title, I want to talk about movement in Smash Ultimate. I play both Melee and Smash 4 competitively right now, so hopefully I won't come across too biased one way or the other. Throughout the course of the video, I'll be using terminology from both games that most people playing competitive Smash should know, but I'm still going to give some brief definitions for people who don't, so don't worry if you don't know all the terms. Anyways, without any further ado, let's get into it. So movement in Smash is a pretty broad subject. Before I get into specifics, here's why having good movement options is important for any competitive game. Having good movement options allows you to be creative. Creativity is important for a couple reasons, the first being that if you're watching professional Smash, you generally don't want to see them do the same stuff over and over again. And another reason that's a little bit closer to home is it helps you improve your mental game because by being creative, you're already thinking more than average. The ability to be creative with your movement also provides more options for the player, and most of the time with more options comes more thinking, and that creates depth. This makes the game both fun to watch and to play. Both of these points contribute to the longevity of the game. If a game has creative movement options, it will most likely last a long time. Smash Bros. Melee is a prime example of this. And last but not least, it's fun! Who doesn't like movement mechanics to feel intuitive in games? It's a deal breaker for many people if the core movement mechanics don't feel very good. Based on these points and our current knowledge of the game, my first impression of the movement options in Smash Ultimate is very good. This is mostly due to the fact that what we've seen so far is pretty fast-paced. You will hear me mention the word fast a lot in a positive light coming up. This is because, generally speaking, people enjoy fast-paced action in a competitive atmosphere. So, why do I think the movement options look good? For starters, jump squat animations seem to be reduced across the board, making jumps faster when leaving the ground. This allows for fast ground and short hop movement, which is great for neutral. Dash cancelling is a new mechanic incorporated by Nintendo in this game. It's amazing because it allows you to stop dashing and easily input any action instead of having to wait for the dash to end. It's good because it's not difficult and it opens up a wealth of new attack and defense options. Overall speed seems to have been increased across the board as well. Run speed, jump squad, landing lag, you name it. Most competitive games are more fun and exciting when they're fast. Another incredible addition by Nintendo was the reintroduction of dash dancing. This technique allows you to move back and forth quickly with the aim of being tricky and unpredictable with your movement. This is one of the core movement mechanics from Melee, and I'm super glad it's back. It helps the game to have an exciting and fast-paced neutral. So, when I mentioned neutral a couple times, I was referring to the neutral game. For those who don't know, the neutral game, or neutral for short, is a phase during gameplay where neither player has an advantage. Both players are looking to win the neutral game, or, in other words, obtain the advantage. These techniques and attributes all allow you to obtain the advantage in one way or another, and if you put all these techniques into use together, you get a great neutral game off the bat. But you might have noticed, I left something out. What about directional air dodging? The fact that directional air dodging was reintroduced into Super Smash Bros. Ultimate was an amazing choice from Nintendo. It cannot be overstated how important this could be to the competitive future of the game. Directional air dodging hasn't been included in an official Smash Bros. Game since Super Smash Bros. Melee, being left out of both Brawl and Smash 4. With its return in Ultimate, it opens up the possibility to wave land and to wave dash. Wave dashing is a technique performed by dodging into the ground immediately after a jump, resulting in your momentum making you slide, and is one of the main movement options in Melee. Wave landing is similar, but instead of immediately dodging, you wait until you're about to make contact with the ground, and then input the directional air dodge. As of this moment, proper wave dashing isn't possible in Smash Bros. Ultimate. After jumping, you have to wait a certain number of frames before being able to input a directional air dodge, thus making traditional wave dashing impossible. Wave landing, on the other hand, is possible, but puts you into roughly 20 frames of lag after coming into contact with the ground, making it unwise to use aggressively. Keeping all of this in mind, here's what I think could be improved upon in Smash Ultimate. I think both wave dashing and wave landing should be integrated as they worked in Melee. The time frame where you can't air dodge immediately after your jump should be removed, and the landing lag should be greatly reduced. Perfect pivoting, a movement technique from Smash 4 that is visually similar to wave dashing, but executed differently, is apparently not in the game. Perfect pivoting is performed by inputting a direction on the analog stick, and then immediately flicking it in the opposite direction. This results in your character sliding towards your initial input. I would love to see both wave dashing and perfect pivoting as part of this new Smash game, but if I had to choose one over the other, it would be wave dashing, and here's why. Wave dashing can be integrated with other movement techniques very seamlessly and can be used in many different situations, which improves neutral greatly. Perfect pivoting is more situational, and in my opinion, it's easier to mess up than wave dashing. Getting good perfect pivots can even depend on your controller's physical condition. I do like both techniques a lot, but it's quite plain to me that wave dashing is simply a better version of perfect pivoting. Just for example, you can wave dash out of your standing, walking, or regular dashing animation at any time, but with perfect pivoting, you can only do it from a standing position. You can perform wave dashes that go different distances depending on the angle of the air dodge you input, but with a perfect pivot, you go a set distance every time. Having precise spacing is important in competitive play, because you don't always want to go the maximum distance possible and potentially get punished for it. I could talk about the finer points of wave dashing versus perfect pivoting for several more minutes, but at the end of the day, I'd still like to see at least one of these techniques return to Smash Bros. Ultimate. So, we've pretty much covered all the main movement options I wanted to talk about. All of these are pushing Smash to be more and more competitive, and this is coming from a company who previously discouraged competitive Smash. Nintendo appears to be catering to their competitive audience now more than ever. They seem to want this new Smash Bros. Game to bridge their two largest communities, Melee and Smash 4. They've already added many things that appeal to both communities. Less landing lag on moves across the board, faster overall movement, more hit stun, and better edge guarding are just a few of the things that make this game appeal to both Smash 4 and Melee players. If Nintendo continues to listen to our feedback and implements Melee-style wave dashing and wave landing, I believe this would seal the deal for many Melee players who wish to play this game competitively, and in my opinion, having Ultimate be played by a large percentage of both Melee and Smash 4 players would be very good for the competitive health of the game. The main concern I hear about having Melee-style wave dashing and wave landing is that it would be too difficult to compete for people who don't come from Melee. This view is understandable, but I have a few reasons why I disagree with it. First and foremost, the people who already know how to wave dash won't have a significant advantage over their opponent because the movement options that already exist are both easy to execute and arguably even more powerful than wave dashing. The other reason is that since it would be a game mechanic, it would be available to anyone who wished to learn it. And although it's classified as an advanced technique, it really isn't all that difficult to learn and use. Even though I started my Smash career with Smash 4, I learned how to wave dash without much difficulty, and now it's like second nature to me. In addition, if wave dashing and wave landing worked in this game as they did in Melee, the engine of this game would likely make them easier to perform. Melee had no buffer, so inputs were a lot more strict than they likely will be in Smash Ultimate. With all that said though, I'm not gonna lie to you. Even if the wave dashing and wave landing mechanics stay as they currently are, and perfect pivots aren't added, I would most likely still love the game. I simply think that implementing these techniques would make this game go from great to, well, ultimate, and truly live up to its name. But anyways, I'm gonna wrap this video up here. I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions in the comments. This is my very first time making any kind of video like this, and I'd love to make another one, so I'd really appreciate any feedback that you might have. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully I'll see you back in the next one.